Hello and welcome back to 9 Years in China with old teacher Kenny. Uh, Glad to have you back. I got a little story today from Huainan. Um, for some reason, I have a hard time finding any pictures or anything to show from Huainan, and I'll tell you why. As we do this series, I had two USBs go corrupt on me. Something in my computer. I don't know what happened, but when I was over there and I lost a mountain of photos from that period, and I also lost a lot of photos, my Nikon photos, shooting models and stuff. I've lost thousands of photos, so if I go through some periods in these videos where you don't see many pictures, that's probably why. But today Huainan was an interesting city. It was the most, I can't say corrupt, but it had the most crime of any city I've ever seen in China. And I've been to every city. Obviously, when you have 1 million people somewhere, every city is going to have bad places. But overall, Huainan beat everything I'd ever seen. I've seen grandmothers getting fights on the buses over a seat. I've seen people at the parks get into fights. I've seen a man fishing one time at Long Hu Park there, and he gets in a fight with the police over his right to fish. People on the buses having things stolen. And for me, everybody wanted my bicycles. When I get to Huainan, I realized real quick that the first thing I had to have is I had to get a bicycle because it's pretty far to the front gate anyhow, farther than I wanted to walk really. Then going to classes, which weren't so bad, but going to classes at the little college down the road, you needed a bicycle. So the first thing I did is me and Mary, my girlfriend, and some of the students, we take off one day to go buy a bicycle. And I tell them, I don't need a mountain bike because they're full of mountain bikes, high, expensive. Bicycles in China can be expensive too. I told them I wanted a regular old bicycle, and I wanted a big, heavy-duty basket so I can put my satchel and my books or whatnot in. And so, mission accomplished. Check this out. I get my first bicycle, and it may be, I spent under 700 yen, so maybe under $150 anyhow for a good heavy-duty standard bicycle. And I have it for a little while, and I kept it. I'm not that stupid. I always kept it chained up, but I kept it chained up where everybody else kept their bicycle down at the first floor. And that way I can just come down in the morning, unlock it, let's go to class. One day, I go down to go to class, and this hadn't been very long, a couple months, tops. My bicycle is gone. Now listen, my bicycle is much different than anything the students had, and to go out of my college, you have to go through a big gate. So I think the guards at the gate maybe weren't paying that great of attention. But there was also another way, if somebody wanted to bad enough, they could sneak into the campus because there's one place that did not have a wall, it had a creek, and everybody liked to go fishing in that creek. But if you were adventurous enough, somebody could have came in and got it that way. But still, you would have to sneak into campus with a set of bolt cutters. I had a real chain. You'd have to have a set of bolt cutters, to get it. So anyhow, bicycle stolen. What does that mean? It means we got to buy another bicycle. Okay. So we go back down to Bicycle Alley, and now this time I decided we would shop around a little bit, just look, see what they got. And because I knew where the store was that I got bicycle number one, and I knew how much it would cost to get another one. But we go maybe a block down what I call Bicycle Alley, and there is a gigantic bicycle store there that specializes in stolen bicycles. Now, I didn't know this until after we were in there looking, but it's kind of funny. Their showroom was not very big. You kind of had to tell them. Of course, my Chinese was not good enough to tell. I had to tell my students what I'm looking for, and they would go back in the back, and they would bring out a really, really nice used bicycle. Used. And they would let you look at it, and they'd give you a price. And I was watching this same thing going on with other people. You know, there's kids in there and daughters and whatnot buying, looking for bicycles. And every time somebody would zip back to the back and bring out this lovely used bicycle. Now, I didn't fall off the turnip truck, you know, and bounce around. I started picturing this, and I asked my students, I said, what is the deal with all these bicycles coming out like this? And she goes, they're stolen. What? I'm not going to support somebody trying to sell some poor kid stolen bicycle, you know, to go to another poor kid. So we left that place pretty quick. And but I want you to know that place was full of people looking at bicycles, and they were bringing out these used bicycles constantly. So ended up, we go back to my original bicycle store, and we get bicycle number 2. And I'm trying to think, I don't want to go through this crap again and having a bicycle stolen. So this time, I bought at one of the supermarkets, I got this bright yellow tape. And within a day or two of me getting my second new bicycle, I had the prettiest yellow and black bicycle on campus. And I said, well, surely to God, nobody can miss this. If the guards get used to seeing me on this bicycle and the students get used to seeing me on this bicycle, surely nobody's going to try to steal this bicycle. And it goes pretty good for a few more months. Then, and I even kept this bicycle inside the house from time to time. But if nobody else's stuff is getting stolen, why do they pick on me? So I get up one day, son of a, my bicycle is gone. Mother, son of a, shit. You know, all these words are coming into my head as what do I have to do to keep a bicycle? You know, I can't supply everybody with a bicycle. But this was close enough to the end of the year, and I had, listen, in Huainan, you had to have a bike to get around, literally. Unless all your work, as a teacher, unless all your work was right on campus. But like me, I'm gone all the time, exploring and everything else. I had to have a bike. So we ended up, I get bike number 3. And that bicycle stayed in my house all the time. Nobody was going to steal my bicycle unless they climb in through the balcony. And that bicycle lasted me a pretty long time. It made the trip to Shangzhou in a taxi. We loaded up. When I moved this, and you'll hear this story later, when I went to my next city, we had me and Mary and suitcases and bicycle, all. We went on a big, long drive going to my next city in a taxi. It ended up being the cheapest way that we could move. So, there are some of my adventures in Huainan. Huainan was just the people were great. I mean, my students and everything were great, but it had some real true blue corruption and crime there. So not every place is perfect, okay? But anyhow, I just thought you'd like to hear that story of what the poor old teacher had to go through during his time in Huainan. But don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. So bye-bye.